Meeting called to order at 7 p.m. Call the roll.
Yes, trustee Carey,
Here.
trustee Haig,
Here.
trustee Hall,
Here.
trustee Hirschbein,
Here.
trustee Pini,
Here.
trustee Turnow.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay. I didn't see any public comments written down. I know we did get one over email. Laura, would you read that for us?
Yes, so the village clerk's office did get a write-in comment from Zlatko and Kinga. And it's regarding agenda item 5C, the development of presentation this evening. It is a rather lengthy comment, but we are forwarding it to the village trustees for their information, and it'll become part of the minutes. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment tonight? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, we're going to move into special presentations. The first presentation is the village proclamation for the Custodial Day. Whereas the Village of Pingree Grove wishes to recognize and reward local residents who achieve academic and athletic excellence from within our community, and whereas Callan Deal, a Pingree Grove resident and 7th grade student at Hampshire Middle School, competes on the school's wrestling team where he went undefeated throughout the 2025 D300 season and won the D300 Middle School Championship in the 135-pound weight class, competing against athletes a year older. And whereas on March 8, 2025, Callan won the 2025 IKWF Illinois State Championship by Tech Fall to become the first and only IKWF Illinois State champion from the Village of Pingree Grove. And whereas Callan was named the 2025 IKWF Novice Outstanding Wrestler of the Year, being recognized as the best and most accomplished wrestler within the 14 weight classes that comprise the novice division. And whereas in 2025, Callan won the IKWF North Sectionals by straight pins, including a final pin of 36 seconds into the first period of the championship match. And whereas Callan also won first place at the 2025 IKWF North Regional, the St. Charles Battle for the Shield, the John Davis Kids Open Elite, and the Rockford Bad Boys Open. And whereas Callan, while achieving excellence in athletics, has never neglected his academics and was named to the Super Honor Roll each semester while attending Hampshire Middle School. And whereas Callan was born on July 1st, 2012, and now therefore it be resolved that I, Amber Kubiak, President of the Village of Pingree Grove, do hereby proclaim and recognize July 1st, 2025 is Callan Deal Day in the Village of Pingree Grove, in recognition of Callan Deal's academic and athletic achievements. The Village of Pingree Grove wishes Callan and his teammates continued success in the years to come. I would like to call for a vote or to recognize Callan and also to allow for pictures. Can I get a motion to recess?
Second.
Call the roll.
Yes, trustee Carey. Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Turnow,
Yes.
trustee Hall.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Probably lost. There's always free. You know where that is? Because it sounds better for the other side. Well, you might check the record. Yeah, too.
Can I get a motion to reconvene?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okey doke, we're gonna go ahead and keep going.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a presentation by Ella Paglia for a mobile library proposal. Ella, if you wanted to come up, state your name and your address, and then go into your presentation.
Excuse me if I'm nervous. I usually present in front of 6-year-olds. So adults are new to me. My name is Ella Paglia. Do I need my actual full address or just the North Bay subdivision? I'm a local teacher and I have always loved reading. I'm here tonight because I wanted to share an idea that I could really make a difference in our community, especially for the families and kids who also share a passion for books. As many of you know, the nearest libraries are quite a distance away in Elgin and in Hampshire. And when I was thinking this idea over, I was doing the math and the calculations, and the Hampshire Library is roughly a 30-minute bike ride and a 2-hour walk from our neighborhood, which makes it really inaccessible for people who don't have transportation. With the recent decision not to move forward with the local library, I believe that this is a great opportunity for us to create something special. It would be a free mobile library that I would run out of my Volkswagen bus. So just imagine a little bus filled with books of all kinds, children's stories, young adult novels, and great reads for adults. This mobile library would be a place for everyone in our neighborhood to come and discover new stories and ideas without having to travel too far. The plan was to set this up like a regular library with an easy check-in, check-out system, with just a phone number as your library card. I'll be curating the collection based on what I've gathered over the years from my personal library, and I've already had multiple people ready to donate books for all ages. The support from our community is a wonderful step forward in making this vision a reality. I recently conducted a poll on our neighborhood Facebook page, and I was thrilled to see that 77 out of the 102 people who voted said that they would use this mobile library for themselves or their families. That tells me that there is an interest and a need for this resource right here at home. To bring this idea to life, I'm asking for your support and permission to use the community center parking lot for a few days out of the week during the summer as a base for our mobile library. I've already spoken with the community center coordinator, and they are really excited about the possibility of collaborating with me to plan events and summer reading programs around this initiative. I aim to launch the mobile library around late May or early June. I want to emphasize that this will be a summer-only program designed to enrich our community during the warmer months. I genuinely believe that this mobile library can be a wonderful asset for our community, bringing us together and fostering a love of reading in both children and adults. I would love your support in making this vision a reality. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to working together to create something magical.
Thank you very much. Do any of the trustees have any discussion or questions?
Sounds great.
No.
Sounds great. Do you have like times or anything, or you just?
I'm working with some people local, to try to get things moving, like planning. But I don't have anything like down packed yet. I wanted to make sure I had the permission to use the space before I went ahead and like planned everything to the T.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Next is the development. Troutman and Dance is here to propose commercial development for the southwest corner of Illinois Route 47 and Illinois 72.
Thank
Good
you, Madam
evening.
President. Trustees, thank you for allowing us to address you this evening. My name is Jim Troutman. This is Eric Doms. We are the principals of Troutman and Doms, the cleverly named firm that we have been operating for about 15 years. And we are working to develop the southwest corner of Illinois 72 and Route 47 into a shopping center anchored by a full-service Jewel Osco. That's about a 15-acre site. Let me see. I hope I got this. I do. Nope. To begin, we'd introduce who the team members are besides Eric and I of Troutman and Doms. The architect for the project is Camburus and Theodore. It's a 75-year-old firm that has done most of the grocery stores and all of the Jewels that you've ever been in, and they operate throughout the country for a number of grocery stores. Our civil engineer and surveying firm is Manhard Consulting, who I believe has done a lot of work in the village. Our traffic consultant is KLOA, another well-known Chicago-based or Chicago area firm. And our law firm that would be handling all of the work on our behalf is Shane Banks. This is a view of the site. Whoops. This is a view of the site looking from the northeast to the southwest. The Jewel would be situated on the far back corner of the property, back where you see some detention type areas, and you can see the roadway network there. This is our site plan, and at this point, I'll turn it over to Eric to kind of walk you through some of this is probably the most interesting thing, and he's the most interesting person.
Well, thank you, Jim. Good evening. Eric Doms, as Jim had mentioned, this is our preliminary site plan. We've worked through a number of iterations, and this seemingly works the best for our tenant, which is the grocery anchor, which Jim had mentioned. We are working with Jewel. Their orientation is facing Route 47. We're proposing a right-in, right-out off of Route 72. As you can see, a right-in, right-out off of 47 nearest the intersection, and then full access furthest to the south. And obviously that would have to be under the villages and IDOT's approval. We've made an initial submittal to IDOT and then a follow-up one showing those access points. The site is roughly, as Jim said, 15 acres. Jewel is taking 8 of that. They're our anchor. We are working with them, and we're very close to having a signed lease with them. In addition to Jewel as the anchor, we have right now we're showing 6 outlots along the perimeter. That's kind of fluid. It has not been subdivided yet. It'll be based on the end users and their needs. We have not marketed this site yet. First, we wanted to come up with this conceptual plan, lock in Jewel, which we're very close to doing, and then get your feedback and then take it to market for the outlots. But it'll be the typical grocery centered outlots that you are used to seeing potentially fast casual restaurants, quick serve restaurants, potentially a convenience store with fuel, and then maybe some of the other complementary uses that work with Jewel and don't compete with Jewel. This is the front facade of the Jewel, their preliminary elevation. The building is all masonry. You can see the front entryway, a lot of storefront glass. This would be the elevation facing Route 47. In the store, they would have a Starbucks, and they would also have an Osco pharmacy. Parking per code and per Jewel's needs, as you see on the previous site plan. We also have elevations of the other three sides. This would be the south elevation where they would have their truck dock and their services for the store. This is showing part of the front elevation, the east elevation, and the north elevation, which would be facing Route 72, where they have their drive-up pharmacy. They would also have what is their drive up and go, where you pre-order and you park your car and they run your groceries or whatever else out to your car. There's some designated spaces for that. There's a pull-through lane in the front to accommodate that. And then this is a partial of the north and west elevations. We can kind of go back to the site plan here. And you can see the landscape islands that separate the lots. Site lighting would be per code, no spillover beyond the property lines. Very conscientious of the neighbors here, and understanding that this is a pretty big impact to the corner. We're trying to accommodate that. We've done our environmental studies. We're in the process of doing soil studies out there. And I think the next step would be a more formal presentation to the Plan Commission and Board, and to work on the details with the village to make sure that everybody is kind of on the same page. Number of municipal benefits, including a lot of the obvious, the convenience of the grocery store, the pharmacy, Starbucks. Consistent with this development, we'd have to make some roadway infrastructure improvements and some widening, which IDOT is going to require. We're going to need to get people in and out of the shopping center safely and efficiently. There'll be a significant amount of job creation, real estate tax increment, sales tax, and motor fuel tax. In addition, I believe it'll enhance property values around the shopping center. So this is just our initial presentation, and development timeframe. This is very fluid. In essence, you can kind of see the breakdown. What we're proposing, what our goal is to get all of our approvals this year. That would put us in a position to have the grocery store open fourth quarter of 2026. Obviously, we've got to go through a lot of approvals and a lot of, but that's what we do. We're used to it. We've got the team assembled that can do that, and we are excited to be here. If you have any questions, Jim and I are around.
Is there
I'm
any?
happy to address them.
Have you talked to IDOT about the corner of Aurora and 72 there? Is there going to be a light for people making a left turn there?
We are not proposing any improvements to that existing intersection. And quite frankly, I think it might be too close to the existing signal based on what their parameters and guidelines are.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions?
How long does it typically take once you get the blessing to fill the other spots, would you say? I mean, would it be
It's market driven. I would say it could take up to 2 years. Things are evolving back towards the grocery anchor centers. Everybody wants to be, at least as far as the other complementary tenants next to a full service grocery store. That's what, we're proposing. That's what we're offering here. I like our chances. We already have interest. And we have not marketed the site from a quick serve restaurant, and also a convenience store, with fuel. So. And some initial interest, from daycare as well.
So do you guys usually put some screening or something behind a Jewel, like when you back up to homes?
Yeah, so it's a great question. We're conscientious there. We have some room behind the back of the building to provide some screening. We'll work with the village and staff, whether that's evergreens, a board-on-board fence. So we'll do everything we can to screen the residents to the west there.
Can you talk a little bit about when we look at the site plan? I know one of the things we had talked about was the truck traffic because there are going to be deliveries there. Can you show where the truck traffic will be entering and exiting?
Absolutely. We've laid this out after hearing some of the concerns and knowing that a grocery store is going to get a fair amount of deliveries, obviously.
I think there might be a laser button on there.
The red.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
there we go.
Look at that. And so we've designed the site to try to keep the truck separate from the customers and the cars. So the way this is currently laid out, the truck traffic will come in this full access point on Route 47, whether they're going northbound or southbound. Wrong button. And then they will stay. It's very touchy trigger here.
Look at the screen and point.
I might have to do that. So that whether they're northbound or southbound, they'll come into Route 47 off this full access on Route 47. And then they will proceed to the west, and they will use this truck turnaround here to both get into the dock, and then they will use it to leave. And so the truck traffic is designed to just be on this one roadway on that very southern portion of the site.
Would any of the outbuildings be constructed while you're waiting for Jewel to finish? Or that's gonna get done first?
So it depends on, what the demand is. And hopefully it is what we think it will be based on all the market studies. So we'd like to get those constructed as soon as possible as well. It's unlikely that they would all go at the same time, but we've already got a letter of intent for the quick serve restaurant that we're showing on the corner. And we have interest from a convenience store and gas station. So
They could be built concurrently with the Jewel. Could be built a lot more quickly, so they could start later and finish sooner.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
thank you guys for your time. We appreciate it.
Okay, moving on next, we have a proposed public hearing for the proposed fiscal year 25-26 budget. Can I get a motion to open the hearing?
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Haig,
Yes.
trustee Carey,
Yes.
trustee Tarno,
Yes.
trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Hall.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
If anyone in the audience has any comments regarding the budget, please step to the podium. No comments? Okay. Can I get a motion to close the hearing?
So moved?
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Haig,
Yes.
trustee Carey,
Yes.
trustee Tarno,
Yes.
trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Hall.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Moving on, next we have the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda has the approval of minutes from the village board meeting of March 17th, 2025, and the approval of the warrant list for April 7th, 2025, in the amount of $2,329,301.25. Is there any discussion?
I did have one question. It's listed on here for a, Pinky Grove and Countryside impact fees to the fire. I think I have the answer, but I just wanted a better explanation. I would assume that's from DR Horton to Pinky Grove, and then Pinky Grove then issues the check to the fire department because it's Countryside and not exactly affiliated with Pinky Grove. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, you got it exactly right.
All right, thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions, can I get a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Call the roll.
Trustee Haig,
Yes.
trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Tarno,
Yes.
trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Carey.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay. Under items for separate action, item A is the consideration and approval of an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget and authorizing related financial actions. Andy?
Yes, so this is the authorization for the ordinance to adopt the fiscal year budget, which starts May 1st. As you know, we've talked a lot about budget over the last 6 months. I would just applaud the work that the department heads put into this budget. We always spend a lot of time on it, but this year was there was a special focus to kind of hone in on line items and a lot of special projects. We're fortunately in a position where we can look to do things like a larger than normal road resurfacing program this year, looking to possibly add in additional neighborhoods, extra rejuvenator for maintaining the lifespan of the pavement, as well as a couple of other special projects. Especially thank you to Albert for his leadership on handling the budget process internally. You know, we've gone over the projects, and whenever we approve the budget, those projects come back before the board for the individual approval and discussions, but we're proud of this budget. I applaud the work that not only staff did, but the board did. There was a lot of discussion this year on the various projects, park amenities, road resurfacing, special projects, economic development, you name it. So thank you to everyone for their work on this, and I don't have much more to say unless there's any questions.
Albert, do you have anything?
I just want to reiterate, absolutely, special thanks to the entire staff and the board. It felt like it was a year process in a span of 5 months. There was a lot of work, a lot of hours went into this budget. So thank you for everyone for doing a great job. That's all I have to say.
Does anyone have any discussion or questions?
None.
If not, can I get a motion?
I move to authorize an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget and authorizing related financial actions.
Second.
Can.
Yeah.
Call the roll.
Trustee Tarno,
Yes.
trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Carey,
Yes.
trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Haig.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. Motion carries.
Okay. Item B is the consideration and approval of an authorization of a custodial services agreement with Best Quality Cleaning for $24,600 for fiscal year 2026. Nick, do you want to take this one?
Yeah. So before the board this evening is a proposal from Best Quality Cleaning for custodial services of the municipal center as well as the police department. Up until recently, the buildings had been serviced individually, whether that was by public works staff, a separate contract for the police department. And so towards the end of 2024, we had attempted to consolidate the work under one contract in an attempt to simplify things as well as give public works a lot of their time back. Due to the nature of the existing police contract, we had to postpone that, and that is why we are opening the bids now. The current police contract will end on May 1st, and currently we are utilizing month-to-month services from Best Quality Cleaning here at the Municipal Center, so they are familiar with the facility as well as our plans and procedures. With that, they came in as the low bid, approximately $6,000 less than the other bids we received. We received 3 in total. And additionally, they can conform to our desired cleaning schedule was definitely a big point for us as we were reviewing the bids. With that, staff would like to recommend the approval of the contract to Best Quality Cleaning, and I'm here for any questions.
If there are no questions.
If I may, sorry, Amber, just one more thing. The contract is for a 1-year term, and if we continue to be satisfied with their work through the term of the contract, we renew it in 2-year intervals up to a maximum of 5 years total. So come this time next year, if we're happy, we'll renew it, and then that'll bring us up until through 2028, where we do the same thing for another 2 years.
Can I get a motion?
I move to accept the proposal from Best Quality Cleaning and authorize a custodial services agreement with Best Quality Cleaning in an amount not to exceed $24,600.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Charno,
Yes.
trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Carey,
Yes.
trustee Haig,
Yes.
trustee Hirschbein.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Item C is the consideration and approval of an ordinance amending the village code to provide a code hearing department. Andy?
Yes, thank you. So this is the municipal adjudication program that we've talked about before, as part of strategic planning, part of the budget, and as recently as the last meeting when the board authorized the DACRA e-ticketing program. So since last meeting, staff has met with DACRA to kick off the e-ticketing, and an important aspect of that is municipal adjudication. And so we're here tonight. We have the draft ordinance or final draft ordinance to update the village code to set up a code hearing department or a municipal adjudication program in which local ordinance tickets like parking violations or building code violations can be contested here at the village instead of having to go to a higher court, which would be Kane County in our case. And if the board approves this ordinance tonight, the next steps for us are to do a request for qualifications for an administrative hearing officer, who is the person who would essentially act as the judge in local court cases or local ticket cases. And then we are continuing to work with DACRA to implement the e-ticketing aspect of this. We will be coming back to the board as we continue to implement this for not only updates on the program, adjudication and e-ticketing, but we're also looking to do some possible revisions elsewhere in our code related to the penalties for local ordinance tickets. In particular, now that we have an adjudication program, we're looking to restructure the way that the tickets might escalate as instead of, because right now it's like every 10, 20, and then 20 something plus days. We're looking to cut that in half and to have one escalation date at the time of the court hearing. But we'll be talking more about that. We've talked a bit about this before, but if there are any questions, we can try to answer them right now.
I didn't see it in here, so I'll just ask the question. The hearing officer, what's the anticipation of like how many times a month, or would it be bi-weekly? Would it depend on how many tickets are issued?
So it would depend upon, caseload and tickets. For a village of our size, we're thinking once a month. Once a month, the hearing officer would hold a hearing right here. And some villages do more than once a month, but I think for our size, and especially to start off, I think once will be fine.
And does this guy get paid, or this person get paid
Yes.
regardless if we have hearings?
No, so the way we'll set it up is if there is no hearings that day and they don't have to come out, then they wouldn't get paid. But in my experience, we had adjudication at my last municipality. That never happened.
Never happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're bigger.
Yeah.
And we're nicer though, yeah.
I see that the ordinance would specifically exempt speeding tickets. Would it exempt all moving violations?
Yes, so on my understanding, and Michael and Chris can probably attest to this as well, but all moving violations cannot be contested at this kind of a program, only at the county courts.
Is there any other discussion? If not, can I get a motion?
I move to approve an ordinance amending the village code to provide a code hearing department.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Haig,
Yes.
trustee Peony,
Yes.
trustee Tarno,
Yes.
trustee Carey.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, item D, the consideration and approval of an authorization for the purchase of a UTV vehicle in the amount not to exceed 31,000. Pat?
This is a replacement for the Kubota that we auctioned off last year, and we're coming into as I discussed at the last board meeting, a stage of the waste plant construction where buildings will be taken offline, and we're going to need a vehicle to get out to the sample point to maintain IEPA compliance for at least until November. Is the current schedule there, and then there'll be other buildings down the road that will be taken offline and that we can use this for. I gave a full list of things we do. When we're doing irrigation repairs, a lot of times we'll drive one van that has all the equipment in it, but we don't like to drive a bunch of trucks down the path if we don't have to. Residents get upset. So I was looking for something that had year-round use, so it has an enclosed cab so we can drive it in the winter. Another big task that we do is because of our non-potable IEPA licensed irrigation system, one of the only ones of this size in the state, we have to do groundwater samples around the village at 36 different locations 4 times a year, 8 samples at each location, and we're looking for precious metal or anything that we might, to make sure we're not contaminating the ground. So that would be another task that this thing would be used for, special events, other things. It's just countless. We purchased a golf cart a couple years back. It's very temperamental. It likes 80 degrees and above, and it really likes to be on a paved surface, not off-roading it on the grass or turf. So does anybody have any questions for me?
I do. Pat, can you, for the sake of, we have a nice audience tonight, so for the sake of the audience, can you tell us where you guys need to go to get these samples from?
Sure. Some of them are up along 72 behind the berm. If anybody's out in the parking lot, we have one here, but they're down in the wetlands. They're in the shores in the wetlands. We actually cut a path down so that we can get to these points. And anywhere we irrigate, the EPA, which is 155 acres currently in the village, and it's growing. Cambridge Lakes North 2 will have a ton of irrigation in it as well. We have to do groundwater samples 4 times a year, not to mention weekly sampling of the depth. So if we're overwatering, the groundwater comes up too high, we have to shut those zones down. And we do this all the time. It's all part of our permit process for operating this system. So it takes them we do them in groups of 18 just because there's so many bottles and the lab can't handle it, but it's 8 times 18 times 8 samples per each one, and we're checking. You need different chemicals in the bottles to check for different things as far as precious metals, stuff like that. So it's a fairly involved process to do this, and the golf cart won't make it up some of these hills. We've used the Kubota and the Polaris that we have for mulching. We'll throw mulch in the bed, drive that out into the parks instead of driving a heavy truck out and throwing mulch off the back or wheelbarrowing it. It just is less labor intensive. So.
Does anyone have any discussion? Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the purchase of a 2025 John Deere Gator XUV 845M HVAC in an amount not to exceed 30,000 $973.11.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Haig,
Yes.
trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Tarnow,
Yes.
trustee Carey.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay. Item E is the consideration and approval of an ordinance updating the village code as it relates to traffic schedules and signage. Andy?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so this includes a couple of minor revisions to the village code to update additional stop signs that have been added recently or over the years as neighborhoods have been turned over to the village. We also have an update in there regarding the recently placed Cambridge Lakes Charter School signage on Cambridge Lakes Drive. So this is just an ordinance to codify those intersections, those signs within the village code. With that, I can take any questions.
Chief, had a couple quick questions here. For the restricted left turns over by the school, I know the school's looking at doing some improvements over the next year or so in the parking lot. What other alternatives have we looked at, as far as other methods to avoid putting this, restriction in place?
We had multiple conversations about this, and we're gonna use this as our main go-through right now to see if it fixes the problem that we have. As things change and progress, it'll either continue the way it is or it'll be restructured later date.
So it's your opinion that this is the best route to take at this point?
At this time, yes. Until changes to the area have been made, this is the best thing in order to relieve the traffic congestion during the time that it has been brought to our attention.
And then, last but not least, I saw the times kind of differ. Number one, it differs from number 2 and 3 as far as time frame. Do you know why that is?
I can speak to that one. So the village code that we went to look to modify here, they must have tried this sign in the past, some years ago, because it was already in there, but under a different time frame. And I know over the years they've expanded and changed things too, so I think they're looking to try it again. We modified the new signage to reflect what they had requested when they had come to the board. For the other existing signage that's still there, that's up there, that's been up there. Since there was no discussion about modifying or changing those, we just kept those the status quo.
My only concern is consistency to drive the same message forward to all the parents, as well as the police department. If they're having certain time restrictions for certain entrance or exits and not others, I think that if we're gonna do this, we need to do this right and we need to be uniform to have one clear message sent through to all the motorists in the area.
We could certainly look to do it that way. I don't know if that is the will of the board, or if people like that idea, I think then we could continue this, because I would want to run it by the charter school if we're gonna change the plan. But no, certainly, I get what you're saying.
Then I would make a motion to table this so that you could reach out to the charter school.
I'll second.
Okay, call the roll.
Trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Haig,
Yes.
trustee Carey,
Yes.
trustee Tarnow,
Yes.
trustee Pini,
Yes.
trustee Hirschbein.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, we're gonna move into reports, staff. Andy?
Yes, I have one quick report, related to the Route 20 roundabout that the city of Elgin and IDOT are looking to do. So unfortunately, my update is pretty similar to the updates I've been giving before. They have made some progress with NICOR. The city of Elgin and NICOR have made some progress regarding the relocation of the NICOR mains there. Right now, Elgin, IDOT, and the IDOT contractor for the project are waiting on a timeline schedule from NICOR. Once they have that schedule, then they will develop their construction schedule, which they will give to me. They are still planning to start this early summer, but that is all I have to report.
Did they know about how long to finish? Is there any estimation?
They intend to be done by the end of the year, the calendar year. Yeah.
Thank you, Andy. Chief?
Just a quick update on the flock safety system automated license plate readers that we have. Permits are out. Half of them have been approved. The other half are still under review by IDOT. We are reaching out to them to figure out what IDOT's actually looking for the question, but I've reached out to other municipalities. They've had the same similarities with IDOT. I don't know if they're just dotting their i's and crossing their t's or what it is, but we do have an anticipated start between June or July to be fully live. As things get updated and I get updated on the status, I will keep the board informed on when our go live date will actually be and the start of our 60-day free trial period.
Thank you, Chief. Albert?
Just wanted to continue on the budget discussion. I will have the hard copies ready sometime in May. I'll distribute it to all the board members, but once I have those printed out and ready to go, there'll also be a copy downstairs for any resident to come down and take a look at if they choose to, or I'll have a PDF. I will also have a PDF copy on the website too. Budget's over. That's great. Now it's time for audit. I have my preliminary set up with the auditors on the 22nd. It's going to be by Zoom. I expect it to go very well with final field work coming out in July. And I'll have the reports ready by September 30th, no later than October. So welcome to another season of audits. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Albert. Nick?
Nothing at this time.
Pat?
I'll try and keep it brief. We're getting our delivery of road salt that we have to purchase from the state this year. I ordered at the 80% amount of 335 tons. We'll get it over the next 3 days. Normally, they bring 18 to 20 truckloads in one day, but because of the construction, we got the trucking company to do 5 to 6 a day. Wastewater treatment plant is still going well. They have not started the demo of the sand filter building yet. We have a meeting this Thursday. There was a few things we ran into, and they're utilizing a crane for one of the other buildings that's in the spot that they need the crane to dismantle the sand filter building. So they're finishing up the one building, getting the rest of their eggs in a row so that we can start it. I expect them maybe next week to do the bypass and start demoing but I'll know for sure on Thursday and included in my weekend review. Baseball complex. I've been in discussions with the Little League, and initially I proposed putting a dumpster enclosure closer to store garbage cans. And what we're experiencing is homeowners or somebody dumping a lot of trash in the cans. The Little League has expressed that they bring the cans down every Thursday and bring them up Friday afternoon, that they don't need an enclosure down there for all the garbage cans. So we're going to try that out for a while. But what they have, and part of that, I also wanted to have some sort of a shed down there to store equipment. I came up with a interim solution. If anybody's familiar with the complex, the west side or the side of the concession stand that faces the rec center has got an overhang of about 9 feet, and maybe walling that in and putting a garage door on there to store their equipment. What they're finding is their equipment's getting vandalized when it sits outside because it all doesn't fit in the garage. Estimated cost to wall it in, put a garage door and siding on it. I would probably suggest that we do concrete hardy board siding because it's the only thing at ground level instead of blocking doing a masonry wall. It's about $5,000 in material, and it's something Public Works would probably do in-house. If everybody's on board, I'll have a memo. It's within my spending authority, but I wanted to let you know and have some discussion on it at a later time. I'm just briefing you now. Wasn't planning on starting it till a little bit later. But that's some of the projects we're working on right now.
Excuse me, Pat.
Yes.
You mentioned the equipment being vandalized. This is the first, I think, a lot of us are hearing about this. Do we know the damage amount, or do you know if the police department's been looking into this?
It's all little stuff, and the other thing is the kids are playing on it, and they probably shouldn't be. It should be in an area where it's not a toy. It's not a playground toy. So they do have some of their drags and I believe it's called a gill that pulverizes the soil that are out. Someone could trip on that if they're out. There's just pieces that shouldn't be in direct contact with the children. It should be either in a fenced-in area covering a garage, and nothing was built out there to accommodate the scale of what they have.
Pat, I have another question for you. The kayaks came in, I saw they were out.
Yep.
Is everything set up over there? We're all set to go?
Everything is set up. The dimensions of the unit are about 6 inches bigger than they told me. Actually about a foot bigger than they told me, so it overhangs the grass a little bit. Not sure what we're gonna do there. We might try and extend just around so there's not grass growing underneath it. But other than that, it's in mounted and in a suitable spot where we were hoping it would be, so won't get in the way if we do need access down that path to get into the complex.
I believe I saw somewhere in, I mean, maybe it was a weekend report, there was talk of adding a ramp so people could launch the kayak. Have you guys been able to get that done? Or is there plans to do that?
We're making plans right now. We're gonna do probably a cinder path down there. We've already opened up the weeds, removed all the weeds and the garbage around the perimeter there so that people don't have to step through that stuff to get on. We didn't want to go too big because we'll have bank erosion, but we're planning on doing, for the time being, a crushed cinder path, and we'll see how that goes. If we need to change it out to something else later, we could.
Okay.
More than likely that'll occur sometime in the near future. I don't want to say next week, but that's one of the projects we're working on. We're also enlarging. The community garden has sold more space or rented more spaces than they have, and he asked for 4 and then came back again this afternoon and asked for at least 1 more. I showed him a plan where we could get 4 more spaces for a total of 8, we think, in there. So we'll be working on that this week. The Julie's cleared for that.
Okay.
The kayaks can't be used until the water temperature warms up, so we have a little bit of a time, but it is on our radar. We've also ordered bike racks, one to be put in front of the gazebo, another one, it's a very small one here at the municipal center near the flagpole, and then the one at the police department is bent. We're going to replace that one as well.
Perfect.
And if they work out, we could put racks elsewhere.
Okay.
The rack at the gazebo will be in crushed limestone, just like the benches.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Pat. Seth, do you have anything?
I have quite a few things. I will also try to keep this brief. Quickly on the roundabout project, we received feedback on Friday that the hydraulics, which have been under review for 9+ months by IDOT, were approved. We are hoping at this point that that will allow us to receive the PE1 official sign-off, which moves us into the PE2 official stage, which is the land acquisition stage. So that is a positive thing right there. But there'll be some more information as we work our way into the PE2 stage and get that official confirmation from IDOT. As far as the 2025 MFT project, we have very minimal comments that we've received from IDOT, so we're expecting to be able to quickly address those and work towards getting the project out for bid in the next couple of weeks. The water treatment plant number 2 had a couple of warranty items that we've been working with the contractor to have addressed. The gate has been repaired, and the flow meter has also been repaired. We're still working through some HVAC adjustments, but we expect that to be addressed as well. And then a update from the project team on the waste plant project. Like Pat mentioned, the existing filter building is getting ready to be taken out of service. There's a meeting this week to review the steps for the bypassing around the building. There's the SCADA integration meetings have begun to coordinate controls of the future operation of the facility, which is it's kind of a longer term planning effort, but having those started now is a good thing to make sure that we can have a lot of those issues ironed out at the front end. A lot of underground work happening around structure 50. The anaerobic and aerobic selectors have the gates and grading being installed. Sludge press building, the mechanical and electrical contractors are installing equipment. The preliminary and primary treatment building has installation of equipment and piping. and they're planning to install precast roof planks this next week. Roof would be installed then after that. The electrical building, they're installing the building siding and internal drywall. The aerobic digester, they're installing internal piping this week. Secondary clarifier, they're pouring walls and troughs. Cake storage building, they're pouring the grade beams in the next couple of weeks. The gravity thickener, they are beginning excavation in the next 2 weeks. The existing tertiary treatment building, they're making preparations to take the building out of service. So as you can see, there's a lot of construction being done out on that site. Lots of different trades on site, which is all positive, towards moving the project forward. That's all I have.
I have a question. So that's a lot of work going on there. Where would you say we are? Are we on schedule, ahead of schedule, or behind schedule?
At this point, we still believe that we're on schedule.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Seth. Yes, Pat.
I know I said it would be brief, but I lied.
Shocking.
Yeah, there's a lot going on between the plant. I will be gone next week in WaterCon, and one of the things at WaterCon is the village is I'm gonna be accepting a Water Saver Award on behalf of the village. What most people probably don't know here is our spray irrigation system is one of one in the state. We have the largest spray irrigation, and we do it differently than the other two entities that do it. We actually water golf courses, rec centers, sports fields, rights away, anything and everything we can. We're using that to move forward in other directions as well. But so it's a model. The system we have here is a model for the state. And I'm going to be accepting the award for the village on Wednesday of that, but I'll be down there for 4 days. I'm also doing some training this week for paper management in Wooddale because we're going to be evaluating the roads this summer. So.
Good news. Thank you, Pat. Okay, Michael, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, unless any of the board members have any questions for me.
Okay, Laura?
I would like to announce that our official mobile app is now available for residents to download. And it's available for if people would like to scan the QR code now, they could do that. It's available for Android and Apple. So we're pretty excited about that. And it's another way for us to communicate with the residents more efficiently. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Fire, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, you'll probably just see more activity of us with boats down at the by the gazebos. You guys are doing the kayaks. We're gonna be down there doing some more training, just have guys more efficient.
Perfect. Okay. Does anyone have any old or new business tonight?
None.
Okay. Can I get a motion to move into executive session? Do I have to read this?
Just pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C2.
So move.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Carey,
Yes.
trustee Hirschbein,
Yes.
trustee Tarno,
Yes.
trustee Peony,
Yes.
trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Haig.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, we're going to be moving into executive session. It should be somewhat lengthy. And when we come back, all we have is an adjournment. So we thank everybody for coming out and hope to see you at the next meeting.